Canterbury's ready. The Broncos are ready. Terry Matterson kicks off. The Bulldogs defending that southern end of the ground in this first half. That beautiful big tree end of this ground. Lovely setting, Belmore, the football stadium. And this is Mark Watson, his first touch in first grade, just outside that Canterbury quarter line. Let's go down to the sideline and see whether what the conditions are like. Here's John Peard.
Well, conditions today are perfect. Consider it Sydney. Great conditions, no wind to talk of. And the Broncos won't need as much latitude as they did last week, that's for sure. But Canterbury looking to be a six forwards of old times to turn the clock back and perhaps create the springboard for victory today.
What a good tackle that was early in the game. The Bulldogs are fired up this afternoon, but they'll need to be, and they'll have to stop this man, Gene Miles, and that's good defence. Corcoran and Lamb involved then. What a blinder Miles had last week. French. Oh, that looked to be a high tackle for mine. Gillespie hit him. The referees let play go on. And look at David Gillespie. I reckon these Bulldogs aren't fired up.
Gillespie pumped up that tackle. Well, may have been just okay by Gillespie, but that's the second big hit from him. Gillespie is leading by example out there. 2 weeks ago, Phil Gould 2 weeks ago gambled by picking a hungry young team to try and beat Parramatta. Today he's gone the other way. He's picked the stalwarts in their traditional positions. The 88 grand final winners line up without Michael Hagan and Tony Curry. Otherwise, this Canterbury team is the one that got the bacon last year in the grand final. Individually, they haven't been in the best of form, but Phil Gould's decided to go with experience. And the power of David Gillespie already evident.
Here's Dunn taking up Gillespie. I don't think he's played that well all season. Those two hits, maybe that's an ominous sign for Brisbane fans this afternoon. Andrew Farah back on the side after having a terrible season so far with the injury. That wasn't a good pass for Dunn to pick up. You can't really blame him for knocking that on.
The pass out in front of him from Thomas, a little bit too low for Dunn, trying to grapple with it.
Great to see Andrew Farah back on the football field. He suffered a neck injury in the game against Parramatta in February, that trial match. He's had the devil's own job to try and get it right. Let's hope it's right now for his sake and for Canterbury's sake.
And Farah and Lamb give this Canterbury backline a lot more balance.
And experience. And ability.
Those things too. They just look more a settled backline with those players in position.
French to Jackson. The kick. Coming through quickly. Here's going to be a little bit of pressure on Canterbury here, but in the end the ball beats them all. Rowan Tebas.
Good kick from Jackson here, gaining plenty of ground, turning Canterbury around. Jackson, a big roll today, back at 5/8 where he was last week.
The Broncos for the first time really on the attack in the match. This is Duffy. That's the combination of Lamb and Farah. Great defensive players. Penalty against Canterbury up inside the 5, and Matterson, who has the ball, will just line this up and have the shot at goal.
Steve Folkes caught moving up too enthusiastically in defence, too quick to get away from the 5-metre mark.
So Terry Matterson, the chance to put the first points on the board here at the Belmore Sports Ground, moves in from right in front. He's put it straight over the black dot, and the Brisbane Broncos take an early lead. They lead Canterbury by 2 points to 0. A good crowd for a Saturday afternoon match, considering that the weather's a little bit overcast, but I suppose because it's dry, they've decided that football is going to be the focal point of the afternoon. Dowling just inside Canterbury's territory. The man gets up to play it. French. Kerrod Walters. Reminds me a bit like Johnny Gibbs when he runs, that head held high. That's very true. Jackson, the little kick for Johns. Johns has got the bounce. He's got the pass away. Back it comes to Matterson. Matterson in space down to the quarter line. Back it comes to Hancock. Hancock back infield. The ball's gone loose. Who's got it? In the end, it's Watson who scoops it up for Canterbury. The Beautifully judged kick, a lovely weighted kick that gave Johns the opportunity to give Brisbane some sort of platform to launch an attack. Now here's Canterbury through Gillespie.
Good run by Gillespie, but he should have passed the ball. He had support.
Alchin. Tunch takes it up. The crowd appealing for the offside. The flick pass, Thomas got it. This is Gillespie. Gillespie's got the support. Here's Corcoran. Down to the quarter line. Fourth tackle, Canterbury with a chance here if they move it the other side, though. I think they went the wrong way. Kenneth Waters will get there first on a little volleyball type movement of the hands. Bangs it over the dead ball line for the line dropout.
Terry Lamb knows that Robin Thorne outside him is a flyer. He put this kick through for him, and Thorne was herring through. Good work by Kenneth Waters to cover across. You can see Walters really had to cover across. Alan Langer would have been there in other days, but Langer out injured.
That's not a good line dropout. Watson has it for Canterbury. Back to the quarter line. To the sideline, John Peard.
Yes. Well, Canterbury's doing it well in defence, and they're just starting to show a little bit of attack now, but if they can match the enthusiasm they have for defence with their attack, they'll do very well. They've got to keep rolling the ball over. This is what they're trying to do now.
Langmack, back inside it comes. That ball seemed to go loose. Gillespie still got it. Maybe it didn't. Tunch finds a runner there in Folks. They're right on the line here, Canterbury. Last tackle against the Bulldogs. A chance to put a try on. Terry Lamb on his own. Lamb, he's almost there. A metre short, a handover.
Canterbury hammering away up the middle. Quick play, the balls, the forwards going right through the middle and going very close in the end with Terry Lamb.
Just 2 points the difference. Brisbane leading Canterbury by 2 points to 0. Donnelly running it out. The ball went loose before Renner. Is that how it is? Went off.
Went off, I think.
We're going to be confused if we get it properly.
Either way, it's a bad mistake for the Broncos to lose possession here. They've been under pressure, and Donnelly, his pass went loose.
Terry Lamb. This is Alchin. Alchin! Got a great step, Jason Alchin. The Bulldogs right on the attack here. Thomas finds a runner. That's Gillespie. Almost went over the top of Steve Folk, but he's not too far away. Thomas to Tunch with strength. He can't get there. He's got it away. Dunn's got it. Dunn, can he get the pass away? He can't. Good defence from French and Miles. Desperation defence. Thomas, short side. Lamb. Can they keep soaking up the pressure here, Brisbane? Farah. Dunn. Last tackle. Thomas to Lamb. The little grubber kick. In the end, it came off the post. Is it a try? I think it is. Nissan has scored the try. And Canterbury are leading 4 points to 0.
Good lead up here from Canterbury. They really have hit the line, and then Lamb with a deft little kick in behind the line. Plenty of chases. There's Nissan flying through alongside Lamb. Difficult position here as the ball comes off the post, bounces away from Stephen, and Nissan takes advantage. Plenty of skill, a bit of luck. Really, I suppose you've got to say that Stephen had this ball covered. He was right in line, the ball bouncing towards his arms. It comes off the post, and Nissan puts it down.
So Glenn Nissan, his second try of the year. Perhaps a little bit fortuitous, but if you follow the kicks up, sometimes the ball bounces your way, and it did that time. So Terry Lamb, 10 metres out, right in front. There's the kick, it's there. And Canterbury are leading Brisbane by 6 points to 2.
Well, a grubber kick on the last tackle. This was preceded by a lot of constant pressure from the Canterbury side. There's a bit of luck as it comes off the upright, but when you're playing the Broncos, you certainly need a lot of luck.
Now, the runners can't affect the tackle again and again. It's Thorne who brings it back strongly.
That's one area that Brisbane are missing Alan Langer. He really does chase and very rarely misses tackles.
What's the use having 3 players down there ringing 1 player when they've got one and he's got a player in support? Canterbury on the halfway line. Good run there from Gillespie. Matterson was the defender. Well, all the Broncos, I can assure you, were offside there, and the crowd let him don't know. The kick from Farah. Now, look at that. It's just stopped in the in-goal area, so Duffy has to run it out.
Duffy down there in the thick mud. I don't think Duffy's a mud runner. He had a bit of trouble a few weeks ago when it was heavy. Really didn't make any impact as he tried to run the ball back that time, which is unlike him. Usually a very strong man running the ball back.
This is Donnelly. Dowling. Walters. Jackson. Again, that spiral punt looking for touch, and he'll find it. Great kick from Jackson.
Jackson really is kicking well, but at the moment, he's the only reason the Broncos aren't camped inside their own 22. They don't seem to have much more in attack at the present time, except for Jackson's excellent kicking.
Got to go up. Walk it off now, come on. Slow it up.
So the scrums 4 apiece, now 5-4. The Canterbury play. Johns has got a knock there. He got a bad knock the other night too early in the game, I can tell you. Johns in the back play there, down injured. Dunn bring it up now for Canterbury. There's Chris Johns coming back in the position. That looks as if it's an arm injury that maybe he's carrying now. Gillespie. Gee, isn't he playing strongly today?
Johns already has his wrist wrapped and may have taken another knock on that injury.
Lamb, the kick, straight down Duffy's throat, but he was slow to move. He really was slow to move.
Trying to get off. Trying to leave.
I don't think he was expecting the kick, to be honest. Teven, Rowan Teven. French tries the little chip and chase. He should win the race with the ball. He gets there and regains possession. Good football. He really is starting to play with a lot of confidence, and Dowling takes it inside Canterbury's territory. Kerrod Walters, he's got Miles in support. Now Miles coming down to the quarter line. Teven's coming with him. Miles, he can't get out of Alton's tackle. What a great bit of defence that was. Teven in a dummy half. Not many fullbacks in the game would have brought that off. Matterson, Jackson. Only 9 metres away. Walters. French again, up comes the kick. It's coming down in the field of play. Nissen takes it superbly.
Superbly is the word. Great take by Glenn Nissen under plenty of pressure. The Broncos might have been better off spinning this ball. I think they had the numbers, but they've put the kick up, and really Nissen should have been under more pressure than that because men were coming through and they didn't really go up for it.
Back to the quarter line come the Canterbury Bulldogs, and that's an intercept taken there by Miles. Crowd thought he was offside, he wasn't. Donnelly on the quarter line, this is Dowling. What a great tackle that was of Alton on Miles.
It'd be an awesome sight, wouldn't it? Gene Miles in full flight coming at you one-on-one.
Canterbury got the best men in the game.
Really, Miles should have had some support. They were just a little bit too far back for him.
Walters finding French. They can't get through this Canterbury defence yet. The cornerstone of Canterbury's great run through the 80s has been their defence, and here as the pass comes away to Miles, the basketball pass to Duffy. Now Duffy to the corner. He's got Teven in support. Last tackle against the Broncos. Teven. To Kerrod Walters. He tries the chip and chase, but straight into the arms of his opposite number, Joe Thomas. Plucks it out of the air as if he was building at first slip.
Yes, great reactions here by Joe Thomas. Walters decided that rather than spin the ball right, he'd have a race himself. But Thomas, great timing.
And Paul Dunn making a great rush downfield. He hasn't run that far since training. Paul Langmack, the kick. Looking for that muddy area again, knowing full well that the ball's going to sit in that area. They really are using that corner of the field judiciously, Canterbury. They know that it's a hard patch to get out of.
And Langmack really forcing the Broncos back up. And a good run from Dunn. Langmack said, let's push these blokes right back on their own goal line.
Another player down receiving attention is Duffy. Duffy and Johns look alike at times on the field. Especially when they've both got their hands snapped. Donnelly.
The Broncos starting to unload some passes now.
French. Jackson's gone straight through. Back on the inside. Little Terrence Wallace. Oh, that could have been a penalty, but Johns has got it anyway. Rennock's on his outside. Oh, that was a forward pass. The referee's got it. Oh, it was a forward pass. Chris Johns saying it wasn't.
Jackson's
Blind
upset.
Freddie would have caught that.
Well, Jackson's angry about something. Here's Johns. Renouf was behind Johns, but he really just threw the ball out in front of him, trying to get it in front of Nissan, and he's ended up giving the possession away.
Certainly the pass was thrown forward.
No doubt about it.
I'd say what he was complaining about was the fact that he was held back initially and Jackson had to wait to give him the ball. It should have been perhaps a penalty to Brisbane after they didn't get the advantage. Perhaps.
It's John really forcing that pass forward because no doubt Renock was onside, but John's trying to get it out in front of Nissan so he could get the ball to his winger.
Just put it over the top instead of trying to put it around.
Easy to say from up there.
Very easy. A lot of good football scored, a lot of good tries are scored in the commentary box.
When you're sitting up there in the stand, you see everything so clearly and you have all the time in the world, but when you're racing downfield with players racing across in cover defence, you haven't got eyes in the back of your head, it's very hard to judge what you should do and you've only got a split second to make up your mind.
Oh, what about that? That was brilliant stuff there. And here's Renoff. Renoff's got a heap of pace. Elton coming at him. He's also got a good step, but he couldn't get around him. What a step we saw from him last week, but he's got the Broncos on fire at the moment as Teeman comes ahead. And he's tackled only 14 metres out from Canterbury's line. French is the dummy half. That long pass comes out. This is Matterson. Matterson finding plenty of open space there. 9 metres away. Gerard Walters. Dowling, can he get the pass away? Gee, if he got it away, it was a try. The yawning big hole either side of him. Gerard Walters. This is Leman. Last tackle against the Broncos. French is to the left. This is French. The little kick into the end goal area. Back there is Alchin. Now can he get it back into the field of play?
He decides he won't bother trying. Rather than take a chance on trying to pick the ball up, he decided that he would just force it and take the goal line drop out. Not a lot of confidence from Alchin.
So the restart with the line drop out.
Yes, a change in the Broncos lineup. Grant Ricks wearing number 17. He's gone on for Shane Duffy. A little bit groggy at the moment.
But Gerard Waller's in a bit of space. Gerard Waller's has got plenty of pace. Out wide it comes to Hancock. The pass, not a good one. And Hancock can still keep this movement going. Gerard Waller's might have been able to get there on his own if he kept going. Dowling. And they continue to soak up the pressure. We saw Brisbane succumb earlier. Can Canterbury give way here to the Broncos? Matterson, back it comes to Hancock. Hancock, the pass over the top, it's anybody's ball. The referee says we're going to put a scrum down.
Well, Hancock is like a missile out of control. He just darts and dashes, goes this way, goes that way, and in the end he almost fooled himself, I think, then with the pass. He didn't quite know where he was going to throw it. It went nowhere.
Almost on half-time. Plenty of pressure going to be on Canterbury here for the last few minutes of the first half. French to put the ball into the scrum. How often we've said it. Tries in the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 of the second half. often determine the outcome of a match. Penalty goes to the Broncos. Did he take the tap there?
He did, but the referee didn't see him. Behind him. Canterbury are under a lot of pressure. Their defence is really being tested here.
And it's going to be tested for the last 6 tackles, probably of the first half as well. LeMan. Tired players out there. Gee, this forward battle's been good. Donnelly. These forwards will be really looking forward to a bit of a break. Walters, Dowling, penalty against Canterbury, right in front for up inside the 5.
Jared Walters, quick tap.
He's taken the quick tap. Well, if it doesn't turn out for a try for them, Wayne Bennett will probably have apoplexy. Renoff. It was a gift, 2 points. Gerard Walters, a dummy half. Here's Miles. Good tackle, that. There's Langmack. Dowling onto the ball, hard and strong. He's just outside the line. He's mucked that up, Walters, but French has still got it.
Canterbury thin out wide.
Jackson. Matterson. Over the top, not a good pass. Hancock's got it. Hancock back on the inside. Hancock's gone straight through. Last tackle against the Broncos. Chris Johns in a dummy half. Jackson. Jackson puts the kick in. It's in behind Thorne. Teevan's got it all, but he lost it. If he'd held onto the ball, it had to be a try.
Great digging by Jackson. He realised that Canterbury was thin on the right side. He got him behind the line, then turned, kicked right across field. The try was on offer and Teevan couldn't quite hang on.
He only had to hold the football to score the try. And at half-time, Canterbury-Bankstown go in, leading Brisbane by 6 points to 2. Just inside Brisbane's territory. Lamb. He's kicking for that boggy patch as well. They know exactly what they're doing, Canterbury. They know that the ball, they can virtually pitch it into that area. Oh, what a shocking error from Ricks, and then Langmack knocks on as well. Knock on both ways.
You're right about the tactics with the kicks, David. There's no doubt they're picking out the dud patches. There's Ricks losing the ball. But the idea, I'm sure, isn't so much to kick the ball into that spot as much as when the fullback picks it up, he has great difficulty running any distance with speed. Just cannot get out of the ball.
Yeah, Gene Miles leaving the field for the Broncos, and Sam Bacco's on the field, number 10.
Canterbury with the ball just outside their quarter line. Farrah's gone straight through. He's got it away. But Alchin can't continue the movement much further. But Canterbury with a chance here. And they're going from the play the ball. Alchin has scored.
Well, Brett LeMan is standing where the ball was played, and I think this replay is going to be very interesting to see whether Alchin played the ball forward fairly, but either way, he skipped away, showing great dash off the mark, catching the defence snapping. Now here's LeMan, he tackles Alchin. Let's see whether Alchin is marked properly or not. LeMan struggling with him as he comes around. He had his arm all over the top of him. Well, that ball, I'd say there's two sides to the argument here. LeMan hadn't really let him go properly, but when he played it, it was played in the ruck. And I'd say Alchin fairly lucky to get away with that. So I suppose you could say, well, it was tit for tat. Why not give the benefit to the attacking side?
Second try of the season to Jason Alchin, who seems to have dislocated a finger there as well. Larry Britton tending to him. Lamb 10 metres out, almost in front. There's the kick, it's there. And so Canterbury are leading the Brisbane Broncos by 12 points to 2.
Yes, here's Jason Alchin in the tackle. Brett LeMan's the tackler. And this all happened because of an earlier Bronco mistake. Canterbury won the scrum. First pass off the ruck, there's the play the ball. Very debatable there. And a little bit of luck with Canterbury. That's their second dose of luck. In each case, it's cost them 6 points, the Broncos.
Well, there's only 2 tries on the board, and there's been an element of luck in both of them, particularly the first one. That one, if I had to go either way, I'd say Brett LeMan should have got away from Alton in the first place, and so I'd give Alton the benefit there and say, well, he couldn't play the ball forward because LeMan was interfering with him as he tried to come around.
Tunks brings it up. Brisbane have missed 19 tackles so far in the match. Become quite dim here too, I might add. It's not reflected on the television, but it's become quite dark. Scoreboard, the new Peter Moore scoreboard, is very bright. The lights, there it is. It really is bright.
What was your opinion of that try, David?
He caught me totally unawares too. I had to stand up to watch it.
On the replay?
I think he was a bit lucky, but then you make your own luck and you get away with it. Pick up the paper tomorrow and you'll find that Jay Alton scored the try. Great tackle from Gillespie again. He's inspired some of these forwards to greater heights today himself. Jackson under pressure. He's not going to get his kick in, but he's got the pass to Walters. Now, LeMan it is who gets the kick in the end, although we're lucky to get away with that. Thorne out in open space, back in amongst the forwards. And LeMan, who put the kick in, affects the tackle. Alton. I think give Canterbury credit. Whenever they're under pressure, they seem to come up with the goods. But they've got to keep doing it for another 8 rounds of the premiership. Yep,
that's the hard part.
Tunks. Done. Folks. Lamb. Got the ball this time. Great tackle. This very pro-Canterbury crowd enjoying every minute of this afternoon. They talk about the home ground advantage at Lang Park. It must be very difficult for the Broncos when they go away from home, knowing that 99% of the crowd are very much anti them.
And they have to do it every second week.
Play on, says the referee. Kieran Walters looking to the touch judge saying, didn't you see that?
Still looking at him.
That's out on the full.
And in fact, Kieran Walters is still looking at the touch judge. Wally Lewis unimpressed with that kick out on the full, which gives Canterbury the chance. Let's have another look at this incident involving Kieran Walters. The loose pass goes out and Walters dives on the ball. Let's see if someone comes in late. I think the knee got Kieran Walters in the head and he didn't appreciate it. Whether or not it was deliberate, hard to tell.
I don't think it was deliberate, was it? On the quarter line, Canterbury with another chance. Here's Alton. Here's Gillespie. He's had a mighty game today, has David Gillespie. Thomas uncertain of what to do, so just burrows ahead. Watson, Lamb, Farah. Thomas. Tunks. Lost the ball. Broncos have come up with it. Jackson to play it. Kieran Walters, Dowling. Good tackle from Dunn.
Peter Tunks losing the ball there to forfeit possession, but the Broncos have now made 17 handling errors, and that's costing them.
And which Sam Back are we going to see today? The one that played last Wednesday night? Because if we see that, the Broncos might get rejuvenated. And now Tunks has got the ball. Out it comes to Farah. Farah on his own. He can't get it away to Nissan, but he's got it in the end, trying to get it to land. Ricks has taken the intercept. Now Ricks has got support back on the inside. He's run away from his supports. He had Hancock inside and outside all the way on that run and never really looked to give him the ball. Donnelly hit with everything. What a good tackle, and he's still on the ground, Donnelly, as McCarthy brings it back for the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs.
Donnelly was sandwiched, but I think the one who really hit him was Gillespie with a shoulder charge. His old teammate, no love lost. Joe Thomas in the front and Gillespie from the side.
Handling errors really abounding out here at the moment.
Yes, both sides need to just control their handling for 6 tackles. This game slipping away from the Broncos, if anything, but it's in the balance.
So Wayne Bennett, the Broncos coach, a little bit perplexed and perhaps a little bit worried about his team's performance at this stage of the match. And against the feed, Canterbury have come up with another one. Watson's offloaded. This is Langmack. Langmack down to the quarter line. Langmack still going. They're cutting him to ribbons at the moment here, the Bulldogs. Last year's premiers are standing up and being counted here today. Tunks. Alchin. Gillespie. Thomas. Lamb. Oh, he almost got through. Alchin to Dunn. Last tackle. Watson's the dummy half. Alchin first receiver. Thomas out wide to Folks. Folks throws a couple of dummies. Folks will score. Folks is in. Shut the gate. The Broncos can't come back from here. And Canterbury-Bankstown well and truly back in the race for the Winfield Cup of 1989. 16-2.
Well, 22 minutes remaining on the clock. Canterbury moved the ball wide. They feed it out to Folks. He throws a little dummy. That upset the defence. He pushed away from Johns, who really should have made that tackle. Chris Johns may have just held off a little with Folks throwing dummies here, there and everywhere, but really should have committed himself to the tackle, only 5 metres out from his line, and Folks bounces away and over.
Stephen Folks, his first try of the year, but what an important one.
And what a good one.
Dejected is probably really an understatement. And they've got the next 3 weeks without their stars who'll be in New Zealand.
There's some kind of disturbance down here on the sideline.
Mick Stone's been to the sideline to have a talk to someone. I'm not sure what it was about. Now, I'm not sure whether John Peard actually saw, but he seemed to be speaking to Larry Britton there on the sideline, the Canterbury trainer. Terry Lamb. There's the kick. It's coming around, but not enough. It's missed. And so Canterbury-Bankstown have raced away and lead Brisbane 16 points to 2.
Well, this is just a case of Canterbury having overs. They had too many men for Broncos. Chris Johns didn't know who to take. Joe Thomas threw the wrong ball. Johns corrected himself to try and take on Folks, but wasn't well balanced, and Steve Folks dived over for a try.
I think the second try went against them. They've been somewhat demoralised by that, and Canterbury are pouring on the pressure. Canterbury are not making any mistakes. They're going to drill this win home. But I think that the Broncos have dropped their bundle a little bit after playing some pretty good attacking football late in the first half, but not being able to get the ball over the line.
They're still capable of winning it.
Sure, well, there's still 20 minutes left on the clock.
And they've got the ball down the right end of the ground if they're going to win it. French, Jackson back inside. Walters, Dowling, the tackle from Tunks. Walters, French, Matterson, Jackson. They're throwing the ball around a lot, the Broncos, but they haven't made 1 metre.
I don't think they've got the impetus from the forwards.
French on the last tackle, hoists it high. Alchin underneath it. Alchin slipped over, but he still managed to take it. Well, he was gone for all money, but he kept his eyes on the football.
Absolutely. He's lucky that where he fell over was where the ball also landed, because he was flat on his back. This was a good kick from French. Alchin stumbles in the mud, and the ball lands on his chest.
Well, the key to all of that is if you keep the eyes on the football, you're a chance.
He didn't exactly fly in the air to take it, did he?
The Canterbury forwards so far have had to effect 115 tackles between them. And really haven't allowed the Brisbane forwards to get any roll on at all. And while Miles was on the field, he certainly didn't have the same effect that he's had in recent weeks. He wasn't allowed to.
The same thing happened 2 weeks ago against Canberra. After the second Origin game, the Brisbane players just didn't fire. In fact, the same thing happened after the first one when they went up against St George and they lost. The St George forwards took them on and Brisbane, somewhat weary, just couldn't fire up. This team obviously has had a lot of football in the last few weeks and they've got to be at their best to take on a side like Canterbury, who today is showing something like their true selves.
French. Walters over the halfway. French has got it back. Oh, he's lost it. Canterbury got back in possession through Farah, but the referee has ruled that it touched. He must have ruled that it came off Tunks's hand.
Well, I can understand the boo from the crowd. We'll have a look and see here. Walters flinging the ball out the back, and well, there's the referee's call. He said it touched Tunks's hand before it touched Gary French's. 50-50.
Very difficult one to referee on, but it looks as if he's come up with the right decision for that replay. Bad pass. He almost took it, Stephen. That probably typifies their effort in the second half.
Yes, Chris John's coming off on the Broncos side. Not too happy about it, I don't think. And number 26, Brooke Kennedy's going on. He'll be going into the forwards, and Terry Matterson out to 5'8". Also on the Canterbury side, number 41, another fresh replacement, Glenn Haggett. He's going on to relieve one of the well-worked Canterbury forwards.
So there's Brooke Kennedy. Wearing Guernsey 26, and Glenn Haggett on the sideline in Guernsey 41, waiting to come on.
And another good run and unload by Paul Dunn there.
Into that blue pot on that eastern side of the field. Teven does well to cover up the ball before McCarthy arrives. Ricks. French. This is Kennedy. And David Gillespie, the man coming off, and he really does deserve an early shower. He's had an absolute blinder.
Certainly has. He was the one who set the Canterbury players on the road today.
A standing ovation too as he leaves the field. Well done. 17 tackles and every one of them told. Jackson. Nissen does well on the halfway line. He's got away from those two. He's still going this, and he's got plenty of open space in front of him. Matterson cleans him up. Haggett. Done. Just outside the quarter line. Thomas. Langmack finds Farah. Folks. Farah again. Shot at field goal. Wouldn't have even got 1 point in the soccer. Rich showed a bit of handiwork to gather that in too.
The missed tackles starting to mount against Brisbane particularly, but both teams.
The story of the match reflected there in the missed tackles. Jackson. All away from Farah, but Gundy's a miss. Dowling. Thomas came in very solidly. The help of Terry Lamb, they put him on the deck. Jackson's kick into the open spaces, but straight down the throat of Watson. Thorne will play it.
Watson reading that kick very well.
Here's Alchin. Haggith. Be at home at the Sydney Football Stadium today, wouldn't you, with a name like Haggith? Penalty goes against Haggith though, picking the ball up in the ruck.
That's not Haggith, is
it? Incorrect playing of the ball.
Moving off the mark to play the ball. And that says it all. Wayne Bennett said this game was very important because he's going to lose those rep players for the next 3 matches, and he would have dearly loved to pick up the 2 points today.
French. Gene Miles, of course, will be missing for those next 3 matches. Be on duty for Australia against New Zealand over the next 3 Sundays. Well, that's starting Sunday week. Walters. This is Leman.
First time the Broncos have been in an attacking position for quite a while.
Walters, French. Stevens got it. Half an hour for it to get there, though. Last tackle. Matterson hoists it high. Now Alchin running across field underneath it. They've let it bounce, but in the end he got away with it. And he's lost it, and Jackson might get there. Jackson, can he get the ball down? He can't. Watson it is who's affected the tackle. But here's a chance for the Broncos. Can they get back into the match? He can't play the ball. Matterson. Dowling. Good tackle that from Dunn.
Was a good tackle. Moving up quickly. He had to cut it off.
Donnelly. Matterson. Knocked back, says the referee. French. Knock on, says the referee. Well, they had their chances.
Lack of organisation out there from Brisbane. They just don't quite know where they're going. Eventually it was Gary French knocking the ball forward on the rebound. They're missing the likes of Langer and Lewis out there today. They haven't had the forward momentum for the backs like Jackson to take over and dictate the play. They just haven't been able to go up the middle against Canterbury's forwards who have been too strong.
2 more replacements getting ready on the sideline, and notice both hookers. Greg Conescu and Geordie Peets. Not sure whether they're going to come on in those positions. Terry Lamb. There's Greg Conescu. This time last year he was the Australian hooker. Geordie Peets there to the right. What a blessing it is for Wayne Bennett to have a player of his calibre to fill in for the next 3 weeks. There's say Greg Conescu sees it as a chance to win back his first grade jumper and put Kerrod Walters back at reserve grade.
Big ask, and Walters is in such good form.
Here he is, over the halfway.
That was the sort of dart that sunk New South Wales on Wednesday night.
22 tackles he's got through today. 27. Couldn't read Graham Roberts' right. I can now.
You can see Jackson trying to force the pass out there. The centres just haven't been positioned well enough for the Broncos today. Losing Curry before the match. Jackson trying to float the ball out, but Renouf really was always being well rounded up by the defence.
So there's Phil Gould, who last year became the first coach since Leo Noseworthy back in 1969 when he coached Balmain to win the premiership in his first year of first grade. As Paul Langmack comes off and Geordie Peets comes on. 15 tackles from Langmack.
Kerrod Walters also leaving the field. Phil Gould really does know how to pick horses for courses, doesn't he? 2 weeks ago he threw all the young fellows in and they did the job on Parramatta. Today he throws in all the old heads and they do the job.
Lovely football here. Watson with it in the end. He's got it back to Alchin. It's a good combination. Pete's very much involved in that, and so too is Dunn. Lamb. Haggart. Here's Peets. Folks the dummy half. Dunn. Can't get the one-handed pass away. He was trying to set up Terry Lamb. Last tackle against Canterbury. Lamb spots the opening. Lamb spots a big opening. He's offloaded it. The ball's gone loose. It's 6 to go, says the referee, because it touched a Bronco player. More pressure here for Brisbane. Peets. Thomas on his own. This is Peets. Thomas. Dunn. Alchin quickly to Lamb. Lamb back in amongst the forwards. The flick pass, Alchin's got it. Slips over in that muddy patch. Peets, same way, it comes away to Tunks, who tries that little grubber kick. It's loose, and Nissan, I think, has scored. It came off a Brisbane player. Nissan racing through, has dived on the loose ball to score his second try of the afternoon. And Peter Tunks now probably wants to play 5-8. It's 20 points to 2.
Great little kick from Tunks. The hardest part in this position, firstly, is to get it through the line. He manages to do that. It deflects off a Bronco foot, and charging through, Nissan makes no mistake. But Tunks did well. The length is good on the kick, not too far, just a delicate little kick in behind the line. It changes direction so that Teven couldn't cut it off, but Nissan got there.
So Nissan's second try of the afternoon, his third of the year. And a good try too. It came off Dowling's boot, but he read it well, and that really does sink Brisbane. So some of the crowd leaving to go back with the Canterbury Leagues Club to host their team. And of course the big thing about this performance today is that should Souths beat Penrith, it would mean that Souths are on top of the competition table by 6 points tomorrow night. So Terry Lamb to try and convert the Nissan try. It looks good, it's straight, it's over the black dot. It's 22 points to 2. This is a demolition job.
Yes, here comes the ball out to Tunksy, and the old fella drops it on the toe, something that he does quite regularly. In fact, they scored a try in the grand final off that same move. And Glenn Nissan drops on it for 4. That's a good score for Canterbury, 22 to 2.
They're not happy, are they?
Just watching that replay from a different angle, I wonder whether Glenn Nissan managed to ground that ball 100% fairly. Got it down with just the slightest fudge, I thought, as the ball went over the line. But those kicks in behind the line, close to the goal line, really are a lottery. Anything can happen, and Canterbury, very good exponents of them.
Well, the referee's going to call Haggith out here. I dare say Leman will be called out as well.
Here's the incident. Tackle coming in fairly high. A bit of action in there from a couple of players, including Brett Leman and Glenn Haggith.
Well, the referee has ruled that Haggith was the transgressor. The penalty's gone Brisbane's way. So can Brisbane put a try on? Remembering points for and against could be very vital at the end of the season, because positions 1 to 4 may well be determined by points for and against. And Conescu tries to get over himself. Hancock. Dowling. 9 metres out. Backo went for the smallest man, or what he thought was the smallest man. But Geordie Peach was equal to the task. Conescu. French. That long pass that finishes up with Donnelly. And that's a handover. Or is it? Farris being called out. I didn't think it was the last tackle.
Well, Donnelly's been hit by Farah. The referee decided it was a little high. Here's Donnelly swivelling out of the tackle, and Farah comes over the top, smacks him across the chops.
Yes, he didn't miss him, did he?
In fact, wasn't it Farah in the first half? Hit someone, Jackson, right across the jaw. Unlike Farah to be tackling high, well, I think in that case, he might have been trying to cut off the ball as much as anything as he came over the top. I think it was more of a slap.
Well, Donnelly certainly felt it, and there's the effects of it.
Brisbane have had the last 4 penalties in a row, and it's enabled them to get a bit of a roll on, but you really must give credit to this Canterbury defence. They've kept the Broncos trialless today, and they were under plenty of pressure late in the first half. So they've shut the Broncos out.
thing about before today too, Warren. Brisbane had scored 274 points and conceded just 158, and Canterbury had scored just 144 and conceded 168.
Well, they had similar defensive records, but a much stronger attacking performance by the Broncos through the season. There's Peter Tunks.
Well, we were talking about how dark it was early in the second half. You've even got the lights on here. I don't think it's quite as dark as it was half an hour ago, but it is dark. 190 tackles Canterbury have had to make so far in the match. Donnelly still receiving attention. What a big game it's going to be tomorrow. Souths and Penrith. If Souths win, Paul Dunn's had a mighty game today. Backo, as I said, if Souths win, they'll finish up 6 clear, and that'll just about give them the minor premiership.
Once more, look at that defence, driving Backo into the ground.
10 metres out from Canterbury's line, Leman to play it. Donescu, Dowling, Donescu on the run round. Again, Dunn's there, and so too is Tunks. Even these forwards done a great job for Canterbury today. Here again, it's Backo, but this time it's Tunks who's the tackler. Donescu, French, Leman. Leman throws the dummy. Leman will just about score. He will. Leman's in underneath the post and scored a consolation try. In the closing moments of the match, Brett Leman scores the try. It's 22-6.
Only a consolation, but Leman, you can see the way he threw the ball away. He says, so what? But good bit of work. He really turned on the pace. A little dummy there, then the step, caught them all going the wrong way, and then he spears straight through and the defence can't cut him off. Good determined running from Leman. He hasn't given up, but it was the dummy that sent them all going the wrong way, and then he just speared through, showing good pace for a second rower.
He should open a chemist shop with a dummy that good. His second try of the year. But gee, what a dummy. And the Bulldogs, well, they'll be disappointed about conceding the try, but they'll be pretty happy that they've got their winning bonus.
And the top tacklers for the Bulldogs, Dunn 27, Folkes 23, Tunks 22, Thomas 20.
So Terry Matterson, from right in front of the post, moves in. The conversion's successful. The full-time siren to go at any minute, with Canterbury leading Brisbane by 22 points to 8.
Yeah, here's from the play the ball. Donescu out to French. Cut a player out, put one behind. And there's the dummy. Canterbury had plenty of heads there, but they just didn't move up on the inside and left a saloon passage for Leman.
The old scoreboard, you can see the clock there stopped on the 5-minute mark. It's been stopped there seemingly for about 6 or 7 minutes. So there's only seconds left in the match. Ricks.
David, last year the top 6 teams tallied 30 points or more for the year, and of course there was a playoff for 5th. If you lost more than 7 games, you missed the 5. For example, Brisbane lost 8 games. They ended up with 28 points and they missed out. So on that basis, we've got Balmain, Parramatta, St George. They can only afford to lose 1 more game. Canterbury and Newcastle can't afford to lose any more. Well, Canterbury have got through another day today. Manly have already lost 1 too many. But if you look at this year's table compared to last year's, it looks like there's more of a bunch in the middle. So there may be a slim chance that 28 points might get you through to the 5 this year, even in a playoff with 28 points. So even though it looks like Canterbury can't afford to lose another game, maybe they've got one up their sleeve, but I don't think they'd like to chance it.
Alchin, Dunn. And there goes the siren in the background. Marvellous performance by Canterbury. A great comeback.